The diplomatic crisis over Greenland has reached critical moment as the world leaders gather in Davos, Switzerland for the World Economic Forum in January 2026. What began as a strong rhetoric from US President Donald Trump has quickly escalated into one of the most serious transatlantic confrontations in the decades. It started days before Davos even began. US President Donald Trump openly declared that America needs Greenland, not just for security but for control. He wanted that any ally standing in his way would face the new tariffs. Greenland, remember, is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, a NATO ally. That single statement has sent shockwaves across the Europe, and European leaders fear that it wasn't a tough talk. They saw it as a direct challenge to the sovereignty, NATO unity, and the US-led global order itself. So when the Trump prepared to arrive in Davos, Europe went into the emergency mode. Top EU officials coordinated that insiders called as urgent diplomatic intervention. The plan was simple: calm Trump down, redirect the demands, and prevent a full-blown transatlantic rupture. Even within the Trump's own circle, there were concerns. Some advisors privately worried that rhetoric was going too far for the search of the exit strategy. Several companies were actually quietly floated. One idea was expanding existing arguments that already allow US to maintain military bases in the Greenland. Another was boosting economic cooperation, possibly even staging a singing ceremony that Trump could sell at a major win. Then came a more surprising proposal, placing Greenland under a compact of free association with the US, a mode used with Pacific Islands nation, allowing Washington greater security access without even changing Greenland's status. There were also talks about rewriting 1951 agreement to block Chinese investment on the island. But there's a twist. Despite Denmark's firm opposition, some Trump officials were actually exploring a proposal to buy Greenland outright. Before leaving for Davos, Trump told reporters he expected a deal that would be very good for everybody. He claimed that NATO would be happy. He said Greenland would be thrilled, even though many had protested in American annexation. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte was also scheduled to meet Trump very privately, but the tension only grew. When asked how far he would go to gain control of the Greenland, Trump replied, "You'll find it out." And that's the line that changed everything. European leader pushed back publicly. French President Emmanuel Macron actually warned against the US tariffs to pressure territorial sovereignty. And EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called for a new European independence. Belgium's Prime Minister said that Europe had reached breaking point that's trying to appease Trump. That came as the bluntest assessment. Canadian Prime Minister, on the other hand, Mark Carney, declared that the US-led global order was not evolving and it was breaking. Well, behind the scenes, Europe actually debated the retaliation. Trump's worth 93 billion euros restrictions on the US companies were actually imposed, limited on American military bases and every symbolic boycott. But the summit's early days, the damage was very clear. Denmark's Prime Minister skipped Davos entirely. Macron left without meeting Trump, and Germany, UK stayed uncertain. What started as words became a test of a power. So, this all brings us to one question. Is this about Greenland or about who sets the rule for the world? Tell us what you think in the comments.